Bro, as long as the confidence is there,
it takes you places.
And you get conversations started. Drink some water. What's a myth about hospital workers that you wish people would stop believing? Do you think past lives not haunt, pero se quedan almas en el hospital?
I've heard about that. I had a friend who was working on medical oncology. Obviously, like, they've seen and experienced things. Personally, in my whole 6 years that I've been in the medical field, or nursing field, should I say.
What's the wildest thing you can share that won't get you fired?
Well, I actually talked about this. I'm feeling the tequila getting to me, so.
What keeps you going when you're exhausted?
Honestly, at this point in time, I'm halfway through the nursing program. So lately, I've been going through like really hard times. Like I've been dealing with like difficult things in my personal life. I feel like that's really been affecting me academically, and you know, I try to think about like how far are you into the program? How much effort have you put in? So I try to think about that, you know, how far I've gotten.
Yo, what up, Toxic Fernie here, back with another YouTube video. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. Let's get started. For today's podcast, we have a very special guest. She works at Asante at the hospital here in Medford, Oregon. Welcome, please, audience, Gladys Muñoz Conchas.
Hi, what's up, everyone?
Aquí andamos con Gladys. We're going to get to know a little bit about her, the things she does at her job, and then she's also going to school. We'll get into that right now. But before that, as you guys can see, we have a bottle of Josue. Is it Jose Cuervo? We got the clear one because I personally don't like the brown one. I don't know how you feel about the brown one.
I don't really know what the difference is, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, casi no tomo.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're saying unos shots antes de empezar?
I mean, sure.
All right, bet. All right, so we're gonna, just do a little shots. We're not gonna go get too crazy. We also have water so we can stay hydrated. We got the little cup right here. Favorite color, green. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Do you want it all the way or como lo quieres?
I think así está bien.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I haven't had anything to eat, so.
Dude, it smells.
I'm pretty
strong.
lightweight too, so.
Okay, yeah, maybe one for now. and then we'll see how the conversation goes, and then from there, we'll see if we probably might this whole time take like 3 shots.
Oh my.
3 shots is not nothing. All right.
Making me nervous.
Para que se quiten los nervios. All right, ready? Salud. Cheers. I'm gonna put this right down here donde le pegue el shade.
Oh my gosh.
That was, yeah, I felt that too. Let's get started with the podcast. Gladys, how are you? How are you today? How's your day been going so far?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty chill day. Just woke up and did my usual morning routine.
Nice. What is your morning routine usually look like?
Well, sometimes, me gusta, get up, shower, do my skincare routine, pack up my stuff for school or work. Or sometimes, like, I just kind of chill, have a chill day and don't really have anything planned. So today's kind of one of those days. It's my day off from school. I didn't pick up at work or anything, so.
Thank you so much again
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, to come, here on the podcast. And vamos a cotorrear un rato. But first, we're going to get into what you do like at your job y todo eso. I actually have some questions right here. I don't have them memorized, but aquí las tengo por si acaso. What's your main position at the job you're at right now, like at the hospital at Asante? Like, what is your position?
Currently, I am working at Asante as a CNA.
Okay.
I have been doing this for 6 years, but at Asante, I have been working for 2 years, going 3 in March.
What made you choose healthcare in the first place?
Well, I have younger siblings and I really love kids. I've always had someone to look out for. I remember when I was younger, like my mom would always have like baby well checks, like pediatric appointments for my little brother, and I would always like go with her. So just seeing the doctor, the pediatrician, you know, talk with my mom and like, trying to figure out what was going on with my brother, that just really sparked like an interest in healthcare. I don't know, I was like, maybe I could make a career out of this, like I could work in healthcare, work with babies or kids, and do something that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the beginning, I thought I wanted to like be a physician, like a doctor. So in high school, like I had that mentality, like I knew what I wanted, and I took like a bunch of classes. I took A&P, medical terminology, psychology, child development, because they offered that at North Medford High School. I did a lot of things to like kind of help me in that, and I don't know, I just feel like it all started with my brother and just my mom.
At what point did you realize, like, damn, this job no es para todos?
There was a point in time, I remember at my first job, I was like brand new. There was this lady, she needed help, and she was only comfortable with like this specific caregiver, because I started off as a caregiver before I became a CNA and got my license. So yeah, she was comfortable with one female caregiver, and I wasn't that caregiver that she was comfortable with. Anywho, I was the assisted living facility I was working at, like the way that they worked was they would assign each caregiver to like a different hallway or like whatever. And so the patient that wanted or needed help, like she was upstairs on the second floor, and I was assigned to those rooms. So obviously, like, era mi deber de ayudarla porque a mí me tocaba.
Right.
When she called for help, like I went up to her room and I was like, hey, like I introduced myself. I was like, hey, I'm Gladys. I'm a caregiver. Like, I'm here to help you. Like, what can I do for you? And like she told me what she needed help with, and I tried helping her, pero no se dejaba. Like she was just really comfortable with this other female caregiver. And I was like, hey, like she's really busy right now, but I'm available. Like I can help you. Like I'm trained, and like I know what I'm doing. I know you might not feel comfortable with me, but I want you to know that you are in like good hands, and I'm gonna care for you. She's like, no, like I really want you to call the other lady. And so I had a walkie-talkie because that's how we communicated. I was like, hey, like, she really wants you to come. Can you please come help me with her? She's like, she was so rude about it.
Dang.
She's like, no, I'm not going to go help her. Like, you were assigned to those rooms. I'm not even going to bother going up there. I'm busy right now. So I told the patient, hey, she's not willing to come up here. Either, like, I help you or you stay here without getting the help that you need. And I don't want to do that to you. So, like, please let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
And like she was just being so stubborn, and we were just going back and forth for, I'm not even kidding you, a whole hour.
That's crazy.
And like I was desperate for help from my coworker. I wanted her to help me with her and make the patient feel comfortable, but she was not willing to do that. And obviously the patient wanted my coworker to help, but
yeah,
we were both very upset. Like we both cried together.
No manches.
And ever since that day, we like formed a bond.
Yeah.
And she got comfortable with me after that.
You and the older lady?
Yeah.
Oh, what's it called? It's really hard to deal with people like that, huh?
It is.
And
yeah.
How do you have the patience for that?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know where I get the patience from. I just try to tell myself like, this could be you one day, or like think about how you would feel like if you were in this position.
Okay.
Or like think about your grandma or your grandpa. If they were in her shoes, how would you want somebody to treat them?
That's okay.
And so that kind of helps me. And obviously, like, I don't know, I just feel like I have the best intentions. I'm not trying to hurt anybody or make anyone feel bad, so I'm always trying to like help.
Right.
And that's really all it is.
Nice. And what would you say like a hectic day would look like at your old job?
At my old job, well, we were constantly short-staffed. Obviously it was like a 2-story building, and we would have like 4 or 5 caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
And the patients that were on the second floor were more independent and were able to be more mobile.
Right.
But the ones on the first floor were more like, they required more help. So, we needed to like use Hoyer lifts to like move them around, or like sit to stands. Their baseline was like they would move around in wheelchairs, and it was like they required more help. And so obviously, like, those patients took up a lot of time and they needed a lot more help. And so the main focus was just primarily on those first 4 patients. And with the 4 or 5 caregivers we had, it was like the whole, like, half of the team or all the team was there helping one patient, and then that one person was just upstairs by themselves. So we were just constantly like short staffed, and it was hard to get help. Sometimes we had to like delay care for some patients. Gonna get a little TMI here. Obviously, like, at assisted living, like, the patients, they need help going to the bathroom, like, they have diapers, and if they need help going to the bathroom, like, if we're busy, we have to let them like soil themselves, and like we can't help
gross.
them right. I know it is really gross.
Yeah.
Like, we can't help them right away because we're so short staffed and we're busy helping another patient that requires more help. And so that was really difficult to like navigate around. I always had like that conflict within myself, like, I wish I could do more, but I don't have like the support system or like the people to help me provide better care for these people.
And this was at the Manor, right?
No, this was, well, I don't want to say where it was, but
No, you don't have to.
It was at an assisted living facility. The Manor was so much more better in regard to like patient care. Like, I mean, they were much more strict, and I feel like everything was way more controlled. Like, there was more rules. Staffing ratios they weren't as bad as they were at my first job. It just felt more supported. I mean, the work environment, I am gonna say, like, some coworkers were like really toxic. Like, como que te tenían envidia, and like they would do things here and there to like get you in trouble with HR or whatever.
I feel like that's every job though.
It doesn't matter where you go. Like, it's just wherever you go, there's always that one group of people or that one person.
No, yeah, for sure. Porque pues a mí también me ha tocado like, personas así. And it's like, why? I just come here to do what I gotta do and then move on with my life. That's it. I'm not here to cause problems. I'm not here to cause drama. I'm just here to do what I gotta do. I'm that type that tries to get along with everybody. Sometimes it's así, sometimes it's not. And if it's not, like, I notice it quick and I'll avoid like any contact with that person. Pero I'm usually like laid back,
Yeah.
Like, I'm that type to like be like, hey, good morning, small talk, pero hasta ahí. But no, yeah, eso, lo que tú dices, pues, it's true. And it doesn't even have to be a job.
Like in school too.
Or in school. Yeah, pero así es la vida. You're always gonna have that one person that just doesn't like mess with you, and it's fine, because at the end of the day, esa persona like ni la pelas, You were at that place, and then from there you went to the Manor. How long were you at the Manor before, like, you switched over to Asante?
I think I was there for like a year and 10 months. I wanted to stay longer because I really liked working there. I loved the patients, and I just felt like management wasn't that good. Like, the management that they had at that point in time wasn't that good. And that's why I ended up leaving. It wasn't really so much because of the toxic coworkers. It was more because of management that I ended up leaving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was there for like a year and like 10 months-ish. Almost 2 years. But eventually what happened was I got sick.
Oh, dang.
And so, like, I messaged my scheduler. I was like, hey, like, I'm sick. I have a doctor's note. I went to the ER a couple days ago. I didn't tell her what I had going on or anything, because obviously, like, they don't need to know all that. But I did tell her, hey, I'm not feeling good. The doctor said I need to, like, stay home and, like, just rest up, worry about healing.
Yeah.
And she never responded. She never responded to my message. I called her twice.
Yeah.
And still no response. Which was funny because this scheduler, like, she was so quick to always respond to me. Like, she'd always be bugging everybody about, hey, like, we're short one CNA. Like, I need you to pick up. Or, like, hey, can you pick up? So for her, it was so easy to send out messages to, like, the group or, like, individual messages to me and ask for help, ask me to work on the floor. But when I needed something because of my health, because I wasn't doing so well, it was like I was being ignored.
Yeah.
So when I was sick, I had to call out because since I was in school full time during that point in time, I had to call out because I was scheduled to work weekends. So Friday to Sunday, 8-hour shifts. I had to call out 3 days in a row.
Dang.
And I didn't like that because that was like making me look bad. But it was like I didn't have a choice. She wasn't responding to me. Like I tried reaching out to her, and you know, I need to like be responsible. So, anywho, after the weekend was over, my sister and I we went to management. I don't remember who I talked to, but I went to the higher up and I told her what was going on, and I told her, hey, like the scheduler never responded. She ignored me the whole weekend, and this is what I've got going on health wise. Like, I don't want to get fired. Like, I want to keep my job. I like working here. I care about, you know, the company. Like, I want to be here. Like, what can I do? Like, I don't want to keep calling out because if I call out, obviously that's going to get me fired.
Right.
She's like, oh, well, you can file like FMLA. And I didn't know what that was at the time. So I looked...
what?
FMLA.
Oh, okay.
Family Medical Leave Act or something. I don't know. Something like that.
It's because you know the FML?
No.
No, you never heard that?
Mm-mm.
Like FML, like... Fuck
oh.
No. That's what I thought of, like, as soon as you said it.
No.
Okay. All right. But continue, yeah.
Yeah, she told me to file for that. And, you know, like I said, I wasn't, like, too sure what that was. So I looked more into it. I went to HR, me informe, and they told me what it was all about. And I qualified for it. So obviously I filed. And, you know, I ended up qualifying. And I don't remember how much time I took off of work, but I took some time off. And during that time off, I was like, you know what? Like, they don't value me. I'm just going to go ahead and keep pursuing my dreams, keep progressing, you know, climbing the ladder. And so, because I was at this point in time, existía CNA 1 and CNA 2.
Okay.
Right now, per the Oregon State Board of Nursing, there's no such thing. There's only CNA. There's no CNA 1 or 2.
Okay.
It's just one license now. It's not 2 like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, at that point in time, I was a CNA 1. I wanted to get my CNA 2. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply at Asante and give my 2 weeks notice before I come back to the manor. So I did exactly that. You know, I was looking at job postings. I found something at Asante that I was interested in. I applied. I got an interview. I had already put my 2 weeks in at the manor. So I quit, and then I got a job offer from Asante. And, you know, like they ended up working around my schedule because I told them like I was in school full time. Like, you know, obviously I aspire to be a nurse. You know, I don't know how long it's going to take until I get to that point, but I do want you to know I'm in school full time because I'm trying to become an RN. So ellos me apoyaron and they offered me that position. So I was scheduled to work Friday to Sunday, 12-hour shifts every other week. So that ended up working out for me. Yeah.
And what does a normal shift at Asante look like for you?
Like, are you asking how a day?
Yeah, like a normal shift. Like, haz de cuenta que like nothing too crazy, but tampoco like it's boring, you know? Like, just like on a regular basis or like a normal day.
I mean, like a good normal day for me would just be, you know, obviously not being short-staffed. Mm-hmm. Having like 6 to 8 patients. Probably out of those patients that you get assigned to, having like at least half of them be independent or like require like very minimal help to like move around, you know, like one assist with the front wheel walker, or like sometimes you get those patients that are like heavier and require more assistance. So like those are the patients that I kind of like. But obviously it would be like, you know, getting patients that don't require that much help, or like half of them be like easy and then like the other half just be like, you know. So like just getting a good mix between both. Mm-hmm. And obviously like it also depends to like sometimes I get patients that have dementia and they're confused. They start sundowning, they start getting more combative, more aggressive towards the staff. So it really just depends on like the staffing ratio, you know, what kind of level of assistance do patients need, how they are mentally, psychologically. Like sometimes they're just, it just depends on the patient, to be honest.
What would be the number of a full staff?
On each floor, I would say probably about 7 CNAs are required to like be able to not feel so overwhelmed with so many patients, and obviously have that good balance between like staying busy but not as busy.
Right.
Because sí me ha tocado veces donde we're not fully staffed and we're under the staffing ratio, and I've had to take care of like 10 or 11 patients. And like sometimes some of them are independent, but sometimes even if they're independent, they're needy. Like siempre they're always calling for like the little things, and that takes up a lot of time, and that stresses you out because you have other patients that do require more help, and you can't really dedicate as much time as you want to, or maybe you can, it's just you just feel stressed overall because you're trying to like divide your time evenly between all the patients. And I mean, at Asante, CNAs were required to like check vital signs every, I think, 4 hours. So like right when we start our shift, like at 7, and then the second time would be like at 11 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. So, and then aparte de eso, like if we have diabetic patients, we have to check their blood sugar. So that would be like between vitals. So they're due at 11:30 before lunch gets there, and then the other blood sugar check is due like at 4:30. So we have to get them before their meal trays get there, obviously, because if we check their blood sugar after food gets there, it's gonna spike up, and we're not gonna get an accurate reading. So it kind of feels like a race against time because you have vitals due at the same time, but then you also have your blood sugars. And if you have a lot of patients who have diabetes, that really backs you up a lot. And obviously, trying to answer call lights in between, it can get overwhelming.
So you gotta be on your shit then, huh?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
I mean, some days are better than others. I mean, for the majority of the part, like, siento que I have good days. Sí hay días donde me toca trabajar así y estar bien estresada, but
Nice.
it's not like a normal thing that I deal with all the time.
Mm-hmm. What's the hardest part of the job that doesn't get talked about enough?
I remember, like, probably a year and a half ago or 2 years, I was working with this patient on cardiac step down, and I was assigned to them. I went on my 15-minute morning break and I came back. I was doing my rounds, and all of a sudden they start coding. And I was like, what the heck is going on? You know, like they were doing just fine, and now it's like they're coding. So they call the code blue. He was a full code, and obviously like he was just not there.
Dang.
So since I was assigned to the patient, I obviously had to step in and like help the crew. My job as a CNA is to like obviously help the nurse, and like if she tells me, hey, bring me these things, these items, I go grab them, look for them, and give them to her. Mm-hmm. Or obviously check vitals or like check blood sugars. But that's about it. Or like if I'm the one who found the patient unresponsive, like I would have to start CPR. That wasn't my case.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And are you certified for CPR?
Yeah. In order to work at any place, like in healthcare, like if you're going to be a caregiver or a CNA or a nurse or whatever, in order to get a job for that role, like you have to be certified. So that's part of the job requirement. So yes, I am certified.
That's good, porque pues at this point, you have to be certified for like certain shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you're not certified, you can't do it. Even though you're trying to help out, but the fact that you're not certified, you can't. The job that you need is to like fill all the requirements, you know, whether you're trying to step up or stay in the position you are, but whatever that position requires, like it's better to like have those requirements like done already. Así para que si te toca hacer algo, pues lo puedes hacer instead of waiting for someone to come do it for you, you know?
Yeah.
And pues, como te digo, that's like technically every job if you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you mentally separate work from real life when you go home?
Well, obviously when I go through like when I deal with difficult patients or go through like hard stuff, you know, like having to help a patient during a code, you know, just following up on your last question, I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough because it's like the patient that I was assigned to that day, like we did all interventions we could on them. and we couldn't save them. Like they ended up passing away.
Oh, dang.
And that was like my, not necessarily my first code ever that I experienced, but like on a patient of mine. Because usually the codes
Yeah.
that they call for, they're not my patients. They're usually on other floors, or they're like for other different room assignments that I'm not assigned to. So
Dang.
yeah, when that patient passed, you know, the nurse was like, hey, you need to pack up all their stuff because their family member is going to come and they're going to take all their belongings. And obviously, like, they want to see their significant or their loved one before they take them to the morgue. And so I was in the room. Well, I was in the room while the whole crew was there, like the doctors, the nurses, you know, like the whole crew trying to like help this patient bring back to life. Like,
Yeah.
I was in there the whole time and I felt really helpless. Like, I wanted to do more, but I wasn't certified and I legally like couldn't do more. So I was just standing there the whole time, like me sentí bien desesperada, and I felt so useless. I was like, Gladys, like, what can you do? Like, how can you help them? Like, I was just thinking the whole time, what can I do for them?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I had that guilt in me. What if I could have done something more for them and like I didn't?
No, yeah.
So I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. And then the thing was, you know, while after the patient passed and everything, like after they pronounced them dead, I was like packing the stuff and I was just in the room crying. Like I was crying and I couldn't hold it back. And I know they say that like if you're gonna work in healthcare, like you gotta hold back your emotions and be really good at controlling them. But for me, I feel like I'm a sensitive person and like little things like that get me. So just the fact that my patient didn't survive, I just remember like my back was facing like everybody and I was just here in a corner of the room packing up everything and I was just silently crying. I was like, dang, like poor patient. And like me acuerdo too, like every time I have a patient pass away, like I pray for them. I pray for them, you know, por su eterno descanso, and like I don't know what kind of person they might have been throughout their lifetime, but I pray for them and hopefully like, you know, but yeah, I feel like that's the most difficult part, just trying to deal with like people that pass away. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. And I feel like at some point you kind of start desensitizing yourself and like it doesn't hit us hard, but it doesn't get easier. It's just you kind of like start numbing those feelings or whatever.
No, yeah, for sure. Y luego aparte, we're humans, dude. We have emotions, you know?
Yeah.
So it's normal, you know, to cry. Someone that not necessarily, only que you just know the person, you know?
Yeah.
Even if you just know the person, like you've met them, you've had a conversation with them, and then next thing you know, like, you know, they pass away, you're like, hasta te pones a pensar, like, damn, like I literally just had a conversation with this person and now they're dead. It's like that, like hace cuenta que like your mind just starts thinking about shit. Y también me ha pasado a time when I was working at Harry and David, there was a person, you know, that I would see every day, you know, like I would see them every day. Not necessarily talk to them every day, but like if I get a chance to work with them, pues, you know, I would work with them, conversate with them. And just one day he stopped showing up. Y pues it turned out, yeah, he ended up passing away that weekend that he like stopped showing up to work. And it's crazy porque pues I didn't cry, right? But like, damn, like that's crazy, you know, because I just saw this person like last week. Like we had a interaction. Like I saw them in body and flesh, and now fast forward the week after, they're gone.
Yeah, it's really hard to wrap your mind around that.
Yeah, y pues ni modo, you know, like la vida sigue. At least you could say like, hey, like I'm grateful I met this person, have a conversation with this person, work with this person, you know, whatever. But yeah, no, it's definitely like something that just, you know, it's human. Like it's algo de human, you know, you can't control it. You know, it's an emotional thing. Now, would you say that this would be a moment at work that has like stuck with you?
Not necessarily. I try to not think too much about it. You know, I don't want to like get all depressed and like have that affect me so much, but sí son cosas de las que yo pienso, you know. Obviously, when a patient passes away, I think about my grandparents or my parents, even, or people that I love, and I'm like, wow, like life is really so short. Like you don't know how or when, and like that's the scary part, you know. So I feel like just dealing with it, I feel like I've come to terms with like being okay with like death and dying. It's just like eso no me asusta. Lo que me asusta is like how, you know, like there's really painful ways. So that that scares me. And
yeah, death is gonna come to us all. You know, it's just a matter of time of when. All right, we're back. We had some technical difficulties because we were in the sun, and I guess the fucking like lighting affects the camera. So the camera ended up turning off. Actually, you know what? Let me even check if this is still recording. You know what? We need to take a shot, another shot.
No.
What? One more.
Ay, no. De por sí ya estoy media mareadita.
All right, I'll give you a little shot. Watch.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. That first one, it didn't get me, but it was fucking nasty.
Yeah. I feel a little.
I think that should be good, right?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
Drink some water. Yeah, guys, tequila, it's fucking strong. It's strong in your throat and it's strong in your stomach.
Dude, I can feel it when it's going down. It's like a burning sensation.
Well, good thing is we have water to keep hydrated. Anyways, chill.
I know. Oy. Whoa.
I'm gonna try to take that shot while I ask you the next question.
Perfect.
What's a myth about hospital workers that you wish people would stop believing?
I don't know, because I feel like they're kind of true.
Okay, so like a myth, right? Do you think past lives not haunt, pero se quedan almas en el hospital? That's a good one.
I've heard about that. I had a friend who was working on medical oncology. Obviously, like they've seen and experienced things. Personally, in my whole 6 years that I've been in the medical field or nursing field, should I say, I've never seen or experienced anything crazy like that. I have heard stories from friends and peers. Obviously, hasta no ver, no creer, pero sí he escuchado que in oncology, like, there was this boy that, like, passed away. I don't know if it was a boy or somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody ended up passing away, and, like, they don't necessarily haunt the hospital, but, like, obviously, like, their spirit is still around sometimes. They show up during knock shift, and obviously, like, hacen travesuras and stuff, but it's not like, you know, they're harming people, but
okay.
I have heard that.
And do you believe that?
I don't know, you know, like I said, hasta no ver, no creer. And honestly, now I feel like I am going to respond to your question. So when I was working in nursing homes, I heard that, you know, when somebody passes away, you got to open up the window so that their soul or whatever, salir y escapar. Because if you don't, it's like bad juju. It's like you keep them trapped in there, and that's when they start haunting people and like start doing all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I had a patient pass away in a nursing home, I would open up the window. In the hospital, it's much more different because you can't open up the windows. But yeah, like that was a myth that went around a lot and that I believed. But like I said, I don't know if it's true because in the hospital it's different. You can't open up windows, and I have had patients pass away, and I haven't seen or experienced things, but I've obviously heard that.
Yeah, because usually a mí no me pasan cosas to where like I can see shit, brush it under the rug, you know? Like, for example, like one time I was here at home and I was just washing the dishes, right? Nothing too crazy. Pero pues de la nada, pues like a cup that was on the where you put los trastes para sacarlos, like it just, like it fell. No le di importancia, but I am someone who does believe in, you know, paranormal activity or like cosas así. I believe, pero que me ha tocado like to see like a ghost or like a dead person or like a spirit or a demon or algo así, like nunca. And I pray to God that never happens. And if it does, that's gonna be definitely like a fucking experience that I'm gonna fucking talk about for the rest of my life. Anyways, pero como te digo, I am someone who does believe, pero igual como tú, you know, like
hasta no ver, no creer.
Yeah, pero I do believe anyways, you know, even if
Me
I don't
too.
see it,
Me
you
too.
know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What's the wildest thing you can share that won't get you fired?
Well, I actually talked about this. I'm feeling the tequila getting to me, so my head's getting a little. I apologize. I'm gonna do my best to respond. So I got a job interview, an internal job interview for Asante for a new position, and I actually talked about this with the people who were interviewing me. There was this nurse on my home floor that I didn't really like or got along with, and she would always well, obviously the job of a nurse, if she can't do it herself, their job is to delegate it to the CNAs or to another unlicensed personnel. The nurse had asked me to remove the IV from a patient because she was going to be discharged home.
Yeah.
Now get this. The IVs are usually placed like here or like on their hand. This patient had the IV up here on like their upper arm. That should have been my first red flag. But I was like, whatever. IVs can be placed anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. Oh my God, I'm really feeling
this girl.
I'm feeling the tequila. I'm trying. So, yeah, so she had the IV on her upper arm. And so the nurse told me, hey, take the IV out, take the telly off. She's going home, get her dressed. I went in there, I followed her orders. I told the patient, hey, where do you have your IV? I'm here to help you get ready to go home. She's like, oh, my IV's here on my upper arm. I was like, okay. And so I ended up, like, gathered up my supplies, gauze, alcohol swab, tape, to remove that IV. So I start doing my usual routine, start grabbing the alcohol swab, start, like, kind of rubbing around the, the dressing of it. And then it starts lifting, and I start lifting it up, taking it off slowly. And then I start pulling it out. But it was weird because it wasn't an IV. It was a PICC line. So a PICC line is usually like, it goes straight into your heart. And it's kind of like an IV, but it's more like extensive, I guess. Because it goes directly to your heart. And obviously you can deliver medications and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I started pulling it out, mira que no era un IV. It was like just like a long tube. It was like a purple tube. It was like super long. And I was pulling on it. Y pensé que iba a estar short. So I pulled on it and I was like, voy a terminar pronto.
Yeah.
So like I pull on it. I was like, wait, how deep does this go? And I realized,
like from their skin?
Like, pues sí estaba like.
Oh shit. Damn.
And so I was like, wait, this is not an IV. Like, the patient doesn't know that this is a PICC line. And I didn't know because I did not check their chart before doing that, Like, I could have checked to verify if they had any IVs.
Yeah.
And I forgot to do that step. That was my mistake. Because, yeah, like, usually when we go onto the patient's chart, you can click on avatar. And, like, it shows you, like, all the stuff they have on them. Like, if they have, I don't know, like, a PICC line, an IV, or, like, como se dice, un pacemaker. Any procedures, any wounds, really, anything that can be done to their skin or their person, like, you're gonna see it on the avatar. I didn't check to see if they had an IV. But anyway, like, I went in there blindly without knowing. I started pulling out the PICC line. And so, like, it was a super, super long tube. I just kept pulling it out. And I, like, freaked out, like, in the beginning. I was like, you can see it on my face. Like, obviously, I didn't say anything because if you freak out, the patient's going to freak out. So I was like, Gladys, do not freak out right now. I don't know what we're doing right now. All I'm going to say is, like, try to be careful pulling whatever it is that you're trying to pull out. And don't freak out. Because the moment you freak out, the patient freaks out. She might start doing stuff. And that's when things start going wrong. So I pulled out the PICC line, así, like, bien peacefully, tranquila. I, like to say, fake it till you make it. So
sometimes that works. Not all the time, but sometimes that works. Like, I feel like, and especially this has to do with a lot, like, of getting just away with things,
Yeah.
Like, if you can get away with it, dude, like, fuck it, why not? Sometimes we all go through that, like, where you can get away with something. And the thing is también not to feel guilt, because once you feel guilt, like, it's tu culpa.
Yeah.
Like, it's better to get yourself in that mindset like if I can get away with it and no one gets hurt or nada va a afectar, okay, do it.
Yeah.
Pero if you know that someone is going to get affected by it,
Yeah.
which brings me to my next question. What's a simple health habit, right? A simple health habit you wish everyone took more seriously?
Obviously, their health. I feel like a lot of the health problems that people have. Wait, what did I say? I'm like buzzed.
Okay, so like as a cuenta, right? What's a simple health habit you wish everyone took more seriously? Like what do you think people should take care more of? Obviously, yeah, their health, but like personally. Like what's something that everyone goes into the hospital for? Like what's a common enfermedad that people go to the hospital for that they should prevent on happening?
Well, obviously, diet and like physical activity plays a huge major role.
Okay.
And like if you have a primary care provider and you see them every like once a year or whatever, like siempre te dicen, hey, change this about your diet, or like, hey, try to increase your physical activity to like so and so minutes, like X times a week or whatever.
Mhm.
And like te entra por un oído y te sale por el otro. And then things start getting progressively, like they start getting worse and worse and worse. So I feel like diet and physical activity plays a huge role. And like it's something like we know, pero no le damos tanta importancia, because I feel like it's hard for a lot of us to change those things that we're used to, you know,
Yeah.
daily habits. It's hard for us to like, you know, make change. And so I feel like, I'm a cardiac CNA, so I feel like a lot of my patients, I deal with a lot of patients who have like, you know, heart attacks, you know.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, sometimes it can be genetic, you know. If you have a family history of like, you know, your mom or your dad having like heart issues, you might be more susceptible.
Mhm.
But sorry.
Why are you laughing? That's pretty serious.
It's the tequila. But like, yeah, it might be genetic, but a huge role. Like obviously if you like drink or you smoke and like diet and you're not really physically active, like all these factors add up. And obviously age can be like an unmodifiable factor that can play a role. All these other extra things like you can work on, and we don't take it so serious a lot of the times, you know. We just try to live life, be happy, and do what makes us feel good. And eventually you get to the point where it's like, oh, tienes esta enfermedad.
Mhm.
And you start dealing with it and you start changing, and it's hard to change because I mean all your life you've known these old habits. So either you continue down that path, or you start working towards small changes and maybe you can get better and prevent yourself from getting worse, or you keep those old habits and get worse. And yeah.
Yeah. So your answers are really good. Like I don't know if it's the tequila talking, but your answers are really good. So you do recommend getting checked every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I have a primary care provider. Like, even if you think you're healthy and don't have any symptoms or see anything weird in your body, like, just get checked, you know, just go with your primary care provider. If you don't have a primary care provider, obviously get a primary care provider. That's a huge thing in, like, the nursing world, having a primary care provider. Why? Because the moment you start seeing changes in your body, they can follow up. Like, you can follow through over the years, and we can follow up better with your care. But if you don't have a primary care provider, we don't know what's going on with you. We don't know your health history. Right. Like, we don't know anything. We just know what's going on in the moment, and we're just having a hard time trying to figure out how to take care of you. So primary care provider, work on getting one if you don't have one.
Yeah, so if you guys don't have a care provider, please make sure you guys get one. Even though you might think you're healthy or whatever, like it's always good to like check up on your health, you know, just to see where you are health-wise in life. Food is food, yes, but fast food is
too much of it.
Yeah, definitely you want to like try to stay away from. At least having it like at least once or twice a week is fine, you know, pero yeah, like
every day your cholesterol levels raise up, higher chance of like heart problems. Don't like cut down on that and you're not being active, good opportunity for like heart problems right there.
That's something I try to change, so if anything, like ahorita fast food for me, I'm just trying it to like have it be like a weekend thing, at least once in the weekend, a lunch meal or a dinner meal.
I mean, it's super convenient and it's easy. Do
The
you meal
whole
prep?
Yes, so I do ground beef with vegetables. I know that ground beef is like really good for you. I know white rice también helps y todo eso, like I'll like prep my own salad, le pongo spinach, lettuce. Obviously you have to have just a little bit of croutons, and then obviously the chicken, a little bit of ranch, and a little bit of a Thousand Islands. Nothing too crazy, just in order enough to like the salad can taste good, but it's healthy. Also, I've been trying to like hit the gym every day. I'll have like 1 or 2 days off. Something I also knew that I also started doing is going into the sauna. That way, like, my body can just sweat. I'm not there for a long time. Ponle que unos like 20 minutes. And then from there, when I shower, and this is something I tried doing, but I wasn't able to do it. So another thing that I also tried doing, because I know it's gonna be good mentally and like recovery wise, is taking ice baths. Unfortunately, I don't fit in my tub. Like, I'm too big for like Latina.
Yeah.
I tried. I'm not gonna lie. I tried. Like, llené la tina de agua fría, hielo, and dude, as soon as I got in, like, I was
Everything
like,
just splashed out.
I was like this, dude, and yeah, it wasn't good. So I was like, you know what, fuck this. Let me talk to ChatGPT to see what I can do.
Yeah.
And obviously, ChatGPT recommended me, oh, pues cómprate un tambo, or like get a tambo and fucking do it in there. También me dijo que taking a cold ass shower also, it won't give you like the same effect, pero it will do something. And yeah, so that's what I tried doing, is taking cold showers, and dude, it works. Like the next day, like when I took a cold shower for the first time and I was like sore from the gym, like the next day, dude, I felt like nothing.
Really?
Yeah, so I do recommend that for the people like who are curious, that either taking an ice bath or a cold ass shower will definitely recuperar tu cuerpo. That's just a little bit of the things I started doing, is trying to be more consistent with the gym, at least 5 days a week, going in the sauna at least twice a week for like 20 minutes, and then taking cold showers, eating more healthy wise. I also have not gotten checked to see how my health, so that's definitely something that I will plan on doing in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you can feel good and not notice anything going on in your body, but like obviously, like your primary care provider might notice something. They might pick on something you haven't picked up on, or obviously if they draw labs on you, your lab values say a lot about how you're doing internally. Externally, everything might look fine and you might feel okay, but internally, once those labs get drawn up, that's when we start seeing like the real issue, like if you're okay or if you have something going on. If there's a lab value that's out of place, obviously that's going to raise concern. Why is it too high or why is it too low? And then you start thinking about what the patient told you, like what their habits are, what their routine is, and you start gluing things together and you're like, oh, it might be because of this and this, or like,
recommended, go get yourself checked, whether you think you're healthy or not. Like, it's just good to know.
Yeah.
That way, pues así, once they tell you what you need to do,
just preventative care.
Yeah, because we want to try to like live this life as much as we can. It's only one.
Try to be as independent and as como se dice, like no sufrir tanto.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of your job?
Honestly, the most rewarding part of my job is when somebody recognizes what you're doing for them. Like, I'll have patients, sometimes it's on one of those days where we're short staffed and I feel so overwhelmed and I feel like I do not want to be there at all. I'll have a patient tell me, like, thank you for being here for me. Thank you for doing this. Like, you're just really good at what you do. I can tell that you care. Like, you made me feel great. And, just hearing my patients tell me things like that just warms my heart, and it makes me feel like I'm contributing to, society in like a positive way. I just feel like I'm doing something good, and that makes me feel good, and it just makes me feel good. And then throughout the shift, I just use those patients' words to help me continue doing better or to do better. throughout the shift.
That's good. Sometimes you need to hear that from some people,
Yeah.
It's what's going to get you more motivated, more hype. Una conexión también con esa persona that is telling you all that. If you're someone, who sees someone that's, doing their all, be the best of themselves, make sure you let them know, because it's good to hear that every once in a while or every day,
It goes a long way.
It definitely does go a long way. It definitely is a huge motivation to most people. So yeah, let's be kind, apoyarnos unos a otros. All right, so we're getting, close to the finalizing of, of your job. After everything you've seen, what do you appreciate more at your work now?
At my work now?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just thankful to have a job, because like I said, some days we do have those patients that don't treat us well. Sometimes they want to get like physically abusive or like, just verbally abusive, and on those days you just don't want to be there. Like you want to leave early and you can't, you got to be strong and stay there, stick through it all, cuz you feel like you're letting your team down, You don't want to do that. So obviously, like, just being thankful for the job and the role I'm in right now. Like, even though there are some days that I feel like are more difficult than others, like todo, like everything has a purpose. And como dicen, like Dios hace las cosas por algo, and like it's either to like, make you be stronger.
All right. Now, for someone who is interested in, getting into the medical field or getting into the healthcare, field, what advice would you give those people that are interested?
Well, first of all, I would say don't give up. I have a friend who, while she was in high school, she knew exactly what she wanted to do. Her mind was like set on, oh, I want to become an RN. I'm going to do whatever it takes to become an RN. She went after high school graduation, she went straight to college, started taking prereqs to become a nurse, to then apply to the nursing program. But the nursing program here, Oregon Health and Science University on the Ashland campus, I think just statewide, but this one, it's just really competitive because a lot of people a lot of people are applying, a lot of people want to become nurses, and everybody is qualified, but they're going to choose the ones who stand out the most. And so this friend, she knew that like the program was really competitive. She was already taking her prereqs. She was like halfway through, and she made the decision. She was like, you know what, I'm just going to give up on this dream. Like, I don't want to put myself through that and feel like a failure for applying to the program and not getting accepted. So she's like, I'm just going to change my major and like do something different than what I had planned. So she changed her major. She started taking the classes she needed, and she ended up graduating with a degree for that major.
Nice.
And so now she's working and, está ejerciendo su carrera, pero esta amiga me dice, you know what, like, I really want to get back into nursing. Like, I want to become a nurse. I want to go back to nursing school. But, like, the thing is, too, when you apply to nursing school, I think for, like, your science classes and math, you have to have taken those classes within 7 years, and you have to have, like, certain grades to apply. So if you took the class over 7 years, like, you have to submit a waiver, or you have to like retake the class. And so like this friend, it's already been a couple years for them, so they're like, well, I'm gonna have to retake, like if I really want to pursue this stream, I have to retake if I want to apply to the nursing program. So I would just say don't give up on your dreams. If you really want to become a nurse, or if you really want to do something in the medical field, or not even just in the medical field, just anything in general, like, don't get discouraged by what people tell you. Like, como dicen, si Dios puso ese sueño en ti, es porque tú lo puedes lograr. Do not get discouraged. Don't let your mind get to you. It's very easy to get influenced by like outside opinions and like have these negative thoughts. But, if you want it, you can definitely, like, if you dream it, like, you can definitely work on it and like fulfill that dream. Like for me, I wanted to get into nursing school. I applied 3 times to the nursing program. I got rejected twice. On the third time, I got accepted. You know, I was about to give up, but that doesn't mean I was going to give up on my dream completely. Like, I had a plan B. I had a plan A and a plan B. Okay, Gladys, if they don't accept you on the third try, what are you going to do from here? LPN, bridge over to RN. You know, that was my plan. So obviously, like, have a backup plan in case things don't work out the way you intend them to work out as, but don't give up on your initial like goal, you know.
So yeah, it's always good to dream big, especially if you're doing it. Y las cosas, como tú dices, no te van a llegar así, you know. You gotta work for it. You gotta like put effort into it. You gotta like be hungry. You gotta have that ambition and not give up, you know. Like you gotta, tú mismo te tienes que decir like, I can do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be someone. And so, yeah, it's always good to follow up on that. And yeah, como tú dices, not give up. You're still going to school, right?
Yeah, I'm still going to school.
Okay, you're still going to school. How do you balance school with work?
You know what? It's hard. Right now I'm on call. Before I started school, I was working part-time, but obviously like during my summer breaks, I work every day, 12-hour shifts. I like to pick up a lot because that's really my opportunity to make good money and, you know, just save up for like the school year or whatever. But yeah, before I was in school, part-time, picking up whenever. Right now, full-time like nursing student, I'm like on call, so I pick up whenever I want to and whenever I can. So the way that I balance school and work, obviously I have a planner that helps me like plan ahead and stay on top of things. If I see that I have an exam coming up, por ejemplo, like ahorita, it's Friday and I have an exam on Monday, obviously I'm going to try to not work over the weekend so that I can dedicate that time to studying or like completing assignments that I need to have completed. So obviously like just staying organized and like I'm not gonna lie to you, like some days in nursing school or like in college in general, you're just not gonna feel motivated every day. Like that's the reality of it. You have to have that discipline. And for me, it's worked out really well to have a planner. You know, I write down deadlines. I write down like the times I'm going to work or like doctor's appointments or like, you know, cositas así. Just staying organized and on top of your game, knowing what's ahead of you so that you can plan. And so, yeah, it really, I just try to take it day by day. You know, I don't try to overwhelm myself with like, oh my gosh, like I have all of this to do throughout the week and like I feel so overwhelmed and like, you know, I try to take it day by day and staying organized and obviously knowing what lies ahead of you. Because if you have too much of a busy week, or if I have a busy week, obviously I'm not gonna like try to pick up and work. But this upcoming week, it looks like it's more relaxed for me, so I'm gonna be working over the weekend. It really just depends on how each week looks like for me at school. You know, if I have a lot of assignments due throughout the week, or if I have a lot of clinical sites that I have to go to, or extracurricular things that I have to do outside of school, then I might want to think about it twice before I think about picking up a shift.
Those college exams, tests, whatever, yeah, you need a good amount of time to study for that shit. Like a ridiculous amount of time. And it's crazy, you know. I personally don't know that because, you know, I never went to college or nothing like that. But pues, I do have friends who were in school, are in school, and I have friends who are now doing what they, you know, study for y todo eso. Pero yeah, they would like straight up tell me like, dude, like, it's hard. Ganas de cuitear. Obviously, like,
Have that discipline.
yes, and then también pues nomás echándole ganas and just, you know, studying, because studying is like the major role of like getting through fucking college. You gotta like be sure this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it. Going to school, it makes your job easier or harder?
I feel like it makes it easier because whatever I'm learning in school, like even though I can't put it in practice because I'm still a CNA and everything else after that, like I have to do things within my scope of practice. Just because I know how to do something doesn't mean I can do it because I know how to do it. Like I have to be licensed to do it. I try to stay within my scope. But yeah, like I definitely feel like it does help because I feel like whatever I'm learning in nursing school, And when I'm working as a CNA and I get assigned to a patient, like I can understand what's going on with them. Like antes nomás eran palabras and like, acronyms and stuff, unless like someone would explain it to me, like NSTEMI. What is that? Now I know. I go to nursing school. I can understand what's going on with their heart. Like even though I can't treat them or like help them as a nurse would, like I understand what's going on behind the scenes and what they need.
Know and understand all that. Porque pues, if you don't, then what's the point? Have you ever hit a point where you're just like, how am I still doing this?
Yeah, that was me a year ago. I work a lot during the summers, during my summer breaks, because that's when I have the opportunity to make the most money. Obviously, like I don't really take breaks. I like to work every day for as much as I can. And I know like self-care is important, but obviously like money is still important too. So I don't know. I consider myself a really hard worker and I burn myself out a lot. So I haven't had a break since like a couple years. It's been a couple years since I've had a break, like I'm always constantly on the go. If it's not work, it's school. So I'm always up to something. I feel burnt out. There's times where I'm like, why am I even like doing this? I could be doing one or the other, but it's like, no, like I still want to keep working. I still want to feel like I'm contributing to society. I still want to feel like I'm being useful. But yeah, like I remember last year, like I was just feeling so overwhelmed. We were also short staffed. I had a lot of patients with like diabetes. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It feels like a race against time. You have to answer call lights, you have to check blood sugars, you have to check vital signs. And like the nurses sometimes they start getting pushy with you. Like, hey, have you checked this patient's vitals? Because I need them to pass meds. So you have other things going on. Like I said, we were short staffed. I had all these things going on. And this coworker, like she asked me like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm drowning. And she's like, what can I help you with? I told her, oh, well, I have like, I don't remember how many blood sugars I had, but I told her like, I have this many. She was like, oh my gosh, girl, that's a lot. Like, I can help you if you want. I was like, okay, help me with these 3. Y luego a la hora de la hora se rajó. Like, no me ayudó. And I was like, dude.
Dang, that's
yeah. So that like set me back a little bit because I was relying on her to do it and she ended up not doing it. So I fell back behind and I was stressed. And at that point in time, I remember, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like that day, fui al baño, like no sé qué pasó conmigo ese día. Fui al baño, me encerré, I started crying, I started shaking, my heart was racing really fast, and I was super sweaty. I couldn't breathe. Like I just felt like I was having a panic attack. I don't know what was wrong with me. Having to deal with it for so long, the thing that like set me off, but yeah, like I remember that day I was like, what am I even doing? Like, is it even worth it? Like, am I even doing things right? Like, what if I'm not even where I'm supposed to be? What if si es nomás un capricho? Or like, like I started having all these thoughts, all these negative thoughts.
That's why it's good to know, from someone who's actually doing it. Let other people know how it really is. There's more specifics to the job. It's more than just like a physical thing, more than just an emotional thing. It's a lifestyle. If you think about it, it's a thing that you're gonna basically do almost every day. Be prepared for like everything that might happen. What keeps you going when you're exhausted?
Honestly, at this point in time, I'm halfway through the nursing program. So lately, I've been going through like really hard times. Like I've been dealing with like difficult things in my personal life, and I feel like that's really been affecting me academically. And I try to think about like how far are you into the program? How much effort have you put in? So I try to think about that. How far I've gotten y cuánto tiempo me falta para llegar a mi punto final. So I try to think of that to help me keep going. And I also, like, my parents help me with school. I don't have any scholarships, and like even though I'm working, like I can't afford my tuition all by myself. I pay some of it, not all of it, because I can't afford all of it, of course. So I pay some of it, and my parents help me with the rest of my tuition. So they help me with majority of it. I try to think about their effort. If I fail a class, if I fail an exam, yes, it falls back on me, but at the end of the day, whose effort is going down the drain? My parents. They work so many hours, like overtime. Like there's days where they're probably tired and like want to go home early and be with the family, and they can't because they're taking me into consideration and they're thinking of, oh, I need to pay her tuition. So like they work extra hours, obviously do as much as they can to help me. And when I think about quitting, I just think about the disappointment that it will bring to them, or how it might make them feel if I just start giving up. Like I'm so close to the finish line, but if I give up, it's like all their efforts are just, they're not worth it anymore. And so,
like, yeah, like it was just a waste, but
so I try to make their efforts worthwhile, and I try to do what I need to do, even though like some days I just don't feel motivated or I don't have that discipline within me to do it. Like I have friends that try to like help me, push me to do better and to do things. And sometimes I'm doing the bare minimum, and like I said, just taking it day by day, but try to do what you can, and like obviously think about, I don't know. Well, for me in this case, it's my parents. I always think about my parents. Always my parents. So that's what keeps me going.
if you have parents like that, aprovechalos, take advantage, because not every parent is like that. So I feel like if you have that
Supportive family
support,
dynamic.
that tus parents, that tu family, then dude, like la tienes hecha. You just got to do your part, and that's
Exactly.
it. So I'm guessing because of school and work, you would have to make, well, you have had, pues, más bien made sacrifices. Entonces,
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm young.
yeah.
I want to go out and party, salir con mis amigas, conocer gente. A mí me gusta mucho bailar, so like me gusta salir a los bailes and stuff. Sometimes I can't, because I work those long 12-hour shifts, and by the time I get out of work, it's like super late. So like if I'm scheduled to work 2 12-hour shifts in a row, Saturday and Sunday, por ejemplo, and like let's say there's a baile Saturday night, but I work Sunday morning, 12 hours, it's like realistically no voy a dormir, porque si trabajo el sábado voy a llegar a mi casa, me voy a alistar para ir a un baile o a un evento. And how long are you going to be at the event? If you want to be there all night, maybe till like 2, 1 a.m., it's like llegas tarde a tu casa y ya en lo que te alistas para ir a dormir, o en llegar a tu casa, like se hace tarde pronto, and like no duermes, and you're just like, and I'm not saying I'm like fiestera or anything, I'm just a young person que le gusta salir a divertirse y disfrutar de la vida. And so I feel like I have had moments where like I've had people invite me places and I'm like, oh, I can't, I work, or like, oh, I have this homework assignment I need to work on, or oh, I need to study. Sometimes I don't spend time with my family because I'm just like, on my own recliner on my laptop all day and my iPad, just taking notes, watching videos, reading, and like just studying all day long, like, so I do have to make those sacrifices where I can't spend as much time as I want to with my loved ones, or I can't have as much fun as I'd like to, because there's people my age, I have people on social media, they're always posting, they're having the time of their life, they're traveling abroad maybe even. And I'm over here like, wow, like I wish I had the money, or I wish I had like the time to actually do it, but I can't, I'm tied down. Like work is tying me down, school is tying me down. And like, yo quiero vivir, but like I have these responsibilities that I need to fulfill first. And like just reach my goal before I can actually like go out in the real world and have fun.
Something I am going to say, it's always better to start young.
I know. Yeah.
It's always better to start young. And that's something I want to say to the audience. If you're between the years 18 to like, let's give it not that much of a gap, pero ponle que 18, or even before, like si puedes, like 18 through ponle que 25, 26, bro, those are your years for you empezar a chingarle. Do whatever you can. That way, in the next 10 years, whatever it is you're doing, in the next 10 years, benefit from what you did 10 years before, So my advice is have something going for you, whether if it's school, whether if it's music, whether if it's a job, whatever you think is going to get you to where you want to be in 10 years, do it. Like, just start. Like, don't think about it, because thinking about it, you're gonna think about it too much, and al final del día, you're not gonna do it. So it's always better to start young. Like me personally, like I wish I had the mentality that I have right now when I was 18. Like I honestly do wish I can go back in time and just start from like as soon as I got out of high school. But because I was young and dumb,
You live and you learn.
yeah. And it's not too late. I'm in my mid-20s.
Not a bad age.
It's not a bad age for you to start.
But you just feel like you wasted so much time.
Yes, dude. Solo me la pasaba partying, just going out and wasting money. And it's like, dude, like,
Yeah,
I wish I could go back in time.
I get that.
What class in school, right? What class in school has challenged you the most so far?
Pharmacology.
Please explain.
You have to learn. You have to know and learn your medications. Like the mechanism of action, side effects, what drug interactions go with this medication. Because there are some medications that you can't give at the same time to a patient because obviously it's gonna like affect the patient. So you really gotta know your medications, and like not only that, like you gotta know like the generic or the brand names. It's a lot. And that class really challenged me. I know, like, I would always, like, I'd pass my exams. Like, I wouldn't get the grades I wanted, but I would still pass. Get degrees. Yeah, I feel like that class really, really challenged me. And I feel like to this day, like, I kind of have the hang of it. But there are days where, like, oh, what is that medication? Like, what is it for? And, like, sometimes I have to look it up on, like, ¿cómo se dice? Davis drug guide. Like I have to figure out what the medication is for, so that because that's part of my job as an RN. Like I have to, well, I'm not an RN yet, but as a future RN, it's like you have to explain to the patient why they're taking the medication that they're taking and what it's for. You can't, well, I mean, you technically can. You could just say, oh, here's your meds. How is that going to make the patient feel? You're not going to make them feel comfortable. And the whole purpose is like, you got to make the patient feel comfortable. Like, because if they're not comfortable around you, then how are you going to like help them and provide the best care possible? So yeah, like obviously try to know your meds and like, so you can do that patient teaching and yeah.
All right. So aparte, from graduating, what is your end goal for school?
Honestly, I don't know. I've gotten that question asked a lot. Especially in nursing school. Like a lot of people ask me, they're like, what kind of nurse do you want to be? And I really don't know. Because, like I said earlier in the podcast, I really love kids. I wanted to be a pediatrician in the beginning. And obviously, like my mind has shifted a little bit. Like I still want to be in the medical field, but I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse now. And, just going through nursing school and doing clinicals, I feel like having like being rotated to like different departments. I feel like working in peds would be difficult, just dealing with the sick babies, like that would just tear me up, I'm already an emotional person, like, things get to me easily. Like I act like it doesn't, but it really does. Like things affect me, and more if it's about a kid. It's like, wow, that is really heartbreaking. So I don't really know what I want to do, but obviously for now, like, I just want to graduate, become an RN, get a job in a department where I feel like supported and where I feel like I'm going to excel and learn a lot. And maybe, who knows, maybe down the line I'll end up going to like choosing a different department or like a different area of nursing that I never would have imagined being in.
Okay, so how long until like you graduate? Y luego aparte, has being in school changed how you see your future?
It has. Well, right now we're in week 5 of term 2, year 2. So I'm practically like literally halfway through the nursing program. So I have a year and a half left. So I'm going to be class of 27.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to it.
That's good. And do you feel like you're becoming a different person compared to when you first started?
I feel like I am, I mean, in general, I've always been like a super shy person, like bien reservada and everything. But I feel like ever since I started working, Like, obviously, you deal with a lot of people, families, patients, nurses, doctors. Like, the communication has to be there. So I feel like I've become a little more outgoing. I'm not saying I'm like, a social butterfly, but I feel like that has kind of just helped me, like, it had said my social skills a little bit. And I don't know, it just helps me read people better, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give someone who is willing to go to school and have a full-time job?
I mean, it's doable. I'm not doing that myself, but I do have classmates and have heard coworkers too, like, go through that. They might complain a lot, they're like always, they're probably not getting enough sleep, or they're always stressed, they're sacrificing, time with their kids, time with their family or friends even. Like, it's doable. You just have to be willing to go through that sacrifice that, you're going to be missing out on certain people or certain events and things, and you have to be okay with it. It's definitely doable though. I wouldn't recommend it. If you could avoid it, avoid it. But if you need the money and you want to go to school, like, go for it. But it is really hard to balance everything. Like, for me, it is hard right now. Even though I'm on call, it is hard to balance everything at once. Relationships, life at home, school, work, and then, like, just having a business, like a small business on the side. It adds up. Just be willing to sacrifice things and go in with the mentality, like I said earlier, si Dios lo puso en tu mente, like, si lo puedes soñar es porque lo puedes lograr.
That's a good mindset to have. Now, what's a mistake that you have, dealt with that you avoid now?
In regard to school, or like just in general, or
Let's say school and work.
With school, I'm gonna say, well, for my prereqs, I'm not gonna lie, some classes were overwhelming, like anatomy and physiology and like microbiology, just taking all those classes all together. So that's kind of why I feel like it took me years to, like, even get into nursing school. I was taking baby steps. Like, I was afraid to, like, take all the hard classes at once, or, like, so I was trying to, like, baby steps, and part of me kind of wishes I would have done it all at once. But at the same time, it's like, I know I would have been super stressed, and maybe I wouldn't have done so great in one class, and in the other one I would have done better. That's one thing, that I sometimes regret doing, just doing the baby steps toward getting into nursing school. Then in life or at work, I don't know, I guess, I mean, I've been offered, like I said earlier, like, I want to work with kids. Well, I wanted to work with kids. Before I got accepted into nursing school, like, I got a job interview and I got a job offer to work in, I think, what was it, maternal child, but it was for knock shift. And obviously, like, I work day shift. I've never really worked knock. So, como que sí le saqué, because I was like, honestly, like, I don't know if I can actually stay up all night for 12 hours and, like, care for people. So sometimes I regret not taking that job offer, because it was something that I was curious or interested in, like, working with at one point.
So you prefer going to school and going to work during the day?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I feel like when I go to work during day shift, it just kind of, like, helps me get my day started. Obviously sometimes I'll pick up like a partial shift, like 8 hours.
Yeah.
When I get off, I'll get home, do some homework, study, and, like, not feel so overwhelmed about, like, oh, I worked all day and I can't do anything because I'm tired now and I go to work tomorrow, so.
Yeah. Okay, now be honest with me. Do you drink caffeine?
Not really. I'm actually not really a big caffeine person.
Because I was going to follow up with the next question is, how much caffeine is there involved for you to, like, do all this?
Como dicen, I just raw dog it. I honestly don't really consume.
What did you say?
No, like, I don't really consume caffeine. I try to stay away from it because it can cause, like, too much caffeine can cause cardiac arrhythmias and, heart problems. And I don't want that. I try to stay away from it. And so I really, like, I just try to raw dog it.
Stop saying it.
Just have that motivation, that mentality of, like, Gladys, you can do it. I know you're tired, but think about the people that you're helping, how you're making them feel, and just what you're contributing to society. You know, think about your coworkers too, because they rely on you to like be a team player and help out. Because if you know, if we're short on like one CNA, like that throws you off. It doesn't seem like it, but it does. It throws you off and it like can make you fall behind or whatever. So I just try to like motivate myself. If I'm tired, like I'll like listen to music while I'm at work, like with my wireless headphones or earbuds, and just use that to motivate me or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like take breaks when I feel like I need them. I really just try to stay away from caffeine. I'm not really a caffeine person.
That's good. That's good. You know, it's better like that, you know, porque como tú dices, caffeine will affect your body. What would you tell your past self before starting this journey? Like you go back in time, you're barely starting all of this. What are you going to say to yourself?
You're stronger than you think. No sé cómo va el dicho, but I think... No me acuerdo. But it's something among the lines of like, your worst enemy is like yourself, you know? Because if you have a lot of like self-doubt, like it stops you from doing things. And if you don't believe in yourself, like obviously you're not going to perform as well. You're going to miss out on opportunities. And I remember like before I started nursing school, my biggest concern was, what if I get myself kicked out of nursing school on the first term? I'm not that smart, you know, like there's people who are naturally like they're smart and like they don't need to study as much. There's people that need to study a little bit, they get the hang of it, they get straight A's. And then there's me, like I put in so much more effort than them, and it's like I don't even get like a A. You know, just believing in yourself. Yeah, that was just my biggest concern. Like, what if I fail myself out of school? You know, I'm not that smart. You know, what if I disappoint my parents? And, you know, my parents are going to be disappointed. And ya no me van a querer apoyar. I'm just going to feel embarrassed. I'm going to feel like a failure.
Right.
So just having gone through everything I've gone through while in nursing school, like I've been through a lot. So it's really been proof to myself que like yo puedo con todo. El chiste es creer en ti mismo
and do it.
And just do it. Like face it. Don't be scared.
To finalize with school, work, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself, I don't know, I really want to like be married and have a family and have like my own home. So I don't know if I'm gonna have all of that in 5 years, but I do see myself trying to at least like start a family and like married already. And obviously like working at the hospital still.
Hospital is a very good job, honestly, and it don't even matter what you're doing. You could be a housekeeper. Mm-hmm. My mom, actually I probably shouldn't say this, but my mom, she's a housekeeper, and dude, like the amount of money that she makes is just fucking crazy. She's been there for like 8 years already. So
that's a long time.
And she works night shifts pa acabarla.
Really?
So you know how night shift is like más paga?
Yeah.
Like I said, like as long as you like have a job at the hospital and you keep it for as long as you can, you're set. Obviously, yeah, try to like stay where you're at, but obviously just grow with time, you know,
yeah,
whether if it's stepping up to a new position or just
like going to a different department.
Y'all gonna want to stay for this. You know what? I'm gonna pour myself a shot too, because no more drinking for you.
I know. I feel like the second one got me mareada.
All right.
Well, it's because I'm lightweight, guys.
I think I'm gonna just drink it poco a poco. I'm gonna be a little bitch and just drink it slowly. All right.
Nothing wrong with that.
From your perspective, right? What's the hardest part of dating right now?
I think the hardest part about dating is just finding that right person. Because I feel like a lot of people, either they have like a sneaky link, they're seeing somebody a escondidas, they hide from everybody, or like they're not over their ex, they're just not ready to have anything serious. And so like, or even if they are, it's like they're not even like the right person. And so like it's really, I think it's just really hard to find like a good person. Like you have to have standards, and I feel like even if you have those standards, like it's the dating game is hard. Like it is.
Oh yeah, especially nowadays. Now, do you think dating feels different for women than it does for men?
Yeah, I feel like it is. You know, I feel like a lot of the times los hombres nomás buscan, you know, divertirse con las mujeres, you know, like just sleep with them, sleep around for some time. And for women, like sometimes we tend to take things like that more serious. You know, we get attached, we get emotionally attached. Maybe they want like a relationship from it, and it's like the guy's like, no, I'm just having fun with you. Like I'm not trying to take you serious. And so like there's shame for women. Like if they're like, you know, sleeping around and stuff, like it looks bad on the woman.
Oh yeah.
You know, like se ve muy mal, te ves como una piruja and like no te bajan de ahí. Like you're just the most terrible person ever. And for a man, it's like if they sleep around, it's like wow, like es muy hombre, like you know, like he's such a man and like blah blah blah. So I feel like it's really different for men and women. But also too, aside from like the sexual aspect, I feel like emotionally it is different because for men it's like a lot of the times when they show emotion, it's like seen as a sign of weakness and they're scared. They're scared to like be themselves, let their guard down and just be that person that they genuinely are. Like it's hard to let their guard down.
Yeah.
And for women, it's more like, you know, we're already like sensitive creatures and like somos más frágil. And so for us, when we tend to get emotional and like open up or react, it's like, oh, like it's okay. Es una mujer, pero con un hombre ya cambian las cosas. Oh, like maybe he's gay or like, you know, like little things like that. So yeah, I feel like it's definitely very different, like just based on those two things, I guess.
I would say that most men don't show their emotional side until they've been in that relationship for like ponle que a while. Ponle
Yeah.
que like 6 months to like a year. At least that's how I see it, you know? Porque right off the bat, you know, if I meet a girl, I'm not gonna like cry to her or like show my emotions. Emotions are there, but it's better to like keep them protected until you know it's like the right time for them to be shown. Us men, we do have to like stay strong when it comes to that aspect. Pero como te digo, it changes. It definitely changes once you're in a relationship and if you really love that girl. En cuanto tú te enamoras or you te sientes amor por esa girl, your not weak side, but definitely your emotion side is definitely going to come out. There's going to be times where y'all get into an argument or like just talk about shit that's going to get you to that point where you're going to show your emotions, whether it's being sad or getting mad, you know, like all that, pues cuenta. Do you think with work, right, in school, is dating something people even prioritize anymore? With them just being so busy with like other things?
I think it depends on the person. For me, it's not so much of a priority, but of course, it would be nice to have somebody like your person that you can lean on and run to if like you're having a bad day, you know, just kind of like cuddle up and whatever. But it's not really much of a priority, you know. When you have school and work, it's like, oh, I need to make money to like pay the next term off, or like, oh, I need to make money to like pay my gas and fill up my tank for the month. You know, I need to pass my class because if I don't, I'm gonna disappoint my parents. And if I don't pass my class, like I can get dropped. You know, it's like you have other bigger things to worry about. So it's not really much of a priority.
Now, do you think social media makes dating easier or harder?
I feel like it goes both ways, to be honest. Like it's easier because obviously like you can look at all your options and quite literally, like you can look at all your options, but I feel like it's difficult because of the same reason. You can see all your options. A lot of the times you think the grass is greener on the other side. And so like if I don't know, let's say you're talking to somebody or like you're already in a serious relationship with somebody and you start like putting your eye on somebody else, you might think the grass is greener on the other side and you start, you know, doing things behind your partner's back. You start talking to other people or you start entertaining it and it's like, it's not good.
Right.
So I feel like it can go both ways. But I feel like, again, it really depends on the person that you're with, you know, how they were raised, what kind of values and morals they have. There's a lot of factors that go into it and I could go on about it, but
Yeah, for sure.
It just depends on the person.
It really does, dude. Porque, and that's the crazy part también. You might get with a person, yeah, you guys might be dating for like months or a year. Y'all decide to get married. But dude,
The temptation is there.
pero it's because, see, here's the thing. You never get to know who you're with ever.
Mhm.
Like, you're always gonna find something new that you didn't know about. It's a common thing, especially like in like matrimonios, you know? You could be married for like 30 plus years. In that time frame, learn something about your partner that you never did in those 30 years prior to being married. And it's just crazy. Everyone has secrets. Everyone has something to hide. How far are you willing to go with that, you know? That's why, like, it's always good to be like straight up al principio. Like, tell your partner or tell, you know, the person that you're gonna or want to be with, like, hey, this and this and this. I just want you to know that hopefully we can still continue this. They might understand, sometimes they might not, pero it's always good not to like hide shit.
Yeah.
Porque it can be sketchy. There's like some shit that like you probably don't know about and you just don't like mess with it, and because of that thing now you don't want to be with that person.
Yeah.
Definitely be straight up when you're starting to get to know somebody. Coming from a girl, right? From you.
Okay.
Your opinion. What's something women wish guys understood more?
Yeah, a veces nos hacemos las difíciles cuando decimos no, like we low-key want you to just do whatever we're supposedly being opposed to, you know? Like if I act like I'm mad at you or upset, but like deep down I just want you to like que me ruegues, you know? I feel like that's something I wish guys understood more. Como dicen en los memes, ahorita ya nadie ruega, es puro respeto tu decisión. I feel like that's
Yeah.
well, for me at least,
Yeah.
that's what it is for me. I just like, even though I act and look all tough on the outside and I look careless, deep down I wish you were like not necessarily down to your knees, but like just showing me that you care. I just wish that even though I'm telling you one thing, I wish you like understood it like
the way you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's funny that you say that, right? Porque honestly, if I'm being honest, I used to be like that. I used to be that one boyfriend that just kept fucking rogando y rogando hasta que me den atención.
Yeah.
Just, this is my opinion, and this is coming from me, who's someone who lived it. Pero it might work for everybody, it might not, pero it worked for me, definitely. Honestly, the less I cared, the more me buscaban. Straight up, bro. Like, straight up. It's because, like, I'm gonna give an example, right? Back when I was more vulnerable, ¿verdad? Back when I was more vulnerable, como te digo, like, if there was, like, a little small argument or, like, just something small to where it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna stop talking to me, like, for a day or two or whatever, I would be that one boyfriend to, like, just keep texting, calling, y todo eso, rogando, explaining myself, stuff like that. Pues, you're looking like a bitch right there, if I'm being honest. Like, if I'm being honest, I was a bitch. And honestly, I came to a point where I'm like, I just stopped caring. Like, if there was like a small argument or just an argument or just something little,
just let it cool down and
straight up. And I would tell them too, like, straight up, like, hey, just know that if this happens and you decide not to talk to me, I'm not gonna go out of my way to like look for you. I started doing that, and comparing to like when it was like that, bro, this is like they would go out of the way to like even block me. Yeah.
But I feel like that goes both ways. You know, como dices que entre the less you care, the more que están ahí tras de ti. I feel like it goes both ways. Because I heard that if women do that to men, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, if I'm over here acting like I don't care, obviously, like, you're going to be behind me. Pero también he escuchado que, dime si es cierto o no, que entre más maltrates al hombre, más te quiere.
Yes and no.
Uh-huh.
For me personally, I feel like as long as we're at a good flow, you know, it's cool, you know. But me personally, es que también I've never been in a relationship where there's like
Toxic relationship.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing. There's good toxic and there's bad toxic. I'm going to explain both. So bad toxic is constantly always arguing, constantly always fighting.
Controlling you.
Manipulation, you know, like, hay un chingo de, like, bad toxic shit. Good toxic, for me, good toxic would be like being hella like romantic, flirty, and sometimes even sexual with your partner. Like, por ejemplo, right? Like, let's say I have a girlfriend, right? And I'm trying to be like good toxic, right? A good toxic would be like, you're not allowed to have guy friends because you have me now. You're like being for real. You're like being for real, but like at the same time, like it's like you're not. You know, like you're allowed to have. Like me personally, if I do have a girlfriend, like I don't mind if she has guy friends, as long as I respeto. You know.
Yeah.
Yes, she can hang out with that guy friend as long as there's more people.
Sure.
Pero ya así como a solas, that's like, yeah, slow down.
I mean, porque el hombre es hombre.
Dude, guys are gonna be guys. It don't matter who the fuck they are.
Like,
you know?
honestly, girls, podemos ser ingenuas a veces and we just see the good side in people or guys. Pero como dicen, like, el hombre es hombre, a golden retriever is still a dog. Pónganse truchas.
Ladies, please be smart about your guy friends, you know? If they're your guy friends, they're your guy friends for a reason. Yeah, straight up. Okay, so what's a green flag that stands out right away?
That's a hard question to answer. I'm gonna do my best to answer because, you know, like, obviously no me ha ido tan bien in my love life, pero the green flag that I notice is just, you know, how they treat me, how they talk to me. Pero como dicen también, like, it could only be temporary just so that a guy, because como dicen, like, guys, like, if they want to sleep with you or like,
oh, they have their ways.
Yeah, they have their ways. So like, it could go one of two ways or one of many ways. So like, it's like you never really know. Pero yo, like, si trato de fijarme pues en cómo me habla y cómo me trata. I know I shouldn't like focus on that, but you know, si te maltrata desde el principio, it's like, obviously, like, stay away from me, ya no quiero saber de ti, no me hables. Pero, like, si te habla bien y te trata bien, like, there's potential, you want to get to know them more, and, like, obviously, so siento que me fijo en eso. Y también me fijo, too, like, how the family dynamic is. So, like, if they were raised in, like, a broken home, you know, like, their mom and their dad are, like, divorced, you know, obviously, like, this person is probably used to, like, a specific family dynamic, or, like, they have a different way of thinking from you. You know, you could have come from a different family dynamic. Like, for example, me, you know, my parents are married. They've never been separated before. They've never even considered it. And, you know, like, I have had partners that, like, I've dated that come from, like, broken homes. You know, like, their mom and their dad haven't been together for a long time. And, like, they could have been raised by their dad. And, you know, el hombre es hombre, and so they have a different mentality than a guy. They're going to have a different mentality from a guy that was raised in a home. And so, like, no sé, siento que esos hombres that were raised by, like, a single parent or, like, by their single dad or whatever, siento que son más cabrones, you know? Like, son más, I don't want to say the word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Honestly, it just depends on the guy and what's going on in his life.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like it's more that than, obviously, yeah, the parents obviously do have a lot to do with this whole, like, you know, situation. Pero at the end of the day, the parent is just gonna guide them. Ya al final del día, it's on the guy or girl who decide
to choose to be better.
What's a red flag that people ignore too often? Yeah, that's a good one, huh?
I feel like we, like, just humans, we are visual creatures. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, we're just visual creatures. And a lot of the times, I feel like I have a good intuition, like a good gut feeling. Like, if I see somebody, yo no ocupo tratar a la persona, no ocupo convivir con ellos. Yo nomás con solamente ver una persona, ya sé qué tipo de persona es, you know? And a lot of the times, I'm not wrong.
You saw that? Anyways.
Wait, what was your question again? I feel like I'm getting off track.
No. You're, like, what's a common red flag that most people ignore?
So looks, like I was saying. So yeah, like, since we're visual creatures, we get guided by that a lot. So, like, if the person is good looking, like, even though you sense that they might not be, or that they're not a good person, or if you've already heard stuff about them that they're not a good person, but if they're good looking, I feel like you look past that and you just, like, te guías por el físico hasta que te hagan algo, hasta que pase algo. It's like, wow, I wish I would have, like, stopped before I let things get far, you know?
Yeah. Get to know the person before you think they're the hot shit.
Yeah.
Get to know them, talk to them, go out on a couple dates before you make anything official. Porque you never know. You know, like I said, you never know who the fuck you're with ever. Like there's shit that they have to hide that will never tell you and that they're gonna take to the grave when they die. Which is fine. You wanna make sure. But see, at the same time, you can never be sure. It sucks porque pues at the end of the day, you think you're with the person that you truly think is the one, but at the end of the day, it's not. So just be careful, protect your heart.
People are selfish.
People are
Así de
selfish.
simple. They don't really care about, or they might care about you, but they care more about themselves.
Mhm.
And so that really guides people to like just, you know, acting the way that they act toward you or toward everyone in general. So
Yeah.
people are selfish.
So don't be selfish. Definitely like put yourself in, you know, the other person's shoes. Y como te digo, get to know them, get to like know their past, know what their plans are for the future. It's good, trust me. It's very good. Do you think people confuse attention with genuine interest?
Sometimes. I think it just depends on the person because sometimes.
Here we go again with just depending on the person. Es que sí cierto.
Yeah, because there's people that are genuinely nice, you know? Like, no sé, there's people that are genuinely nice and like they don't like to make people feel bad and, you know, they like to give attention to everybody. And sometimes it might come off the wrong way, you know? Like, for example, let's say, you know, a shy person that's like always super like reservada y no tiene tantas amistades, you know, becomes friends with someone that's like a social butterfly and is more outgoing and like, you know, maybe the shy person's not used to all this attention and like the other person that's more social, you know, they're used to it because that's how they naturally are, you know. To them it could be like just a normal interaction, you know, just giving the person attention, and this person's lonely and like they've never had this attention from anyone else, or like they've never felt this way with anyone else. It might come off as like, oh, like they're into me. And like a lot of the times I feel like it just depends on the person, and it depends too on like the situation.
That's what I'm saying. Avoid answering this question that I'm about to ask you next with depending on the person. Even though it does, but just avoid answering it like that.
Okay.
So
I'll do my best.
How important is ambition or work ethic in a partner?
It's really important because if they don't have any ambition or anything, like for me, I'm dating to marry. I'm not out here trying to hoe around. I'm not trying to sleep around. I'm not trying to have fun with people. I'm dating to marry, and every guy that I'm trying to get to know or talk to or whatever, if they don't have that ambition, it's like, let's say things go far, you know, we build a deep connection, we get close, we have that bond, we're dating, we have a serious relationship, we get to the point where we want to marry each other, and that ambition isn't there, you know, they don't have that drive to better themselves, they don't have that drive to provide. ¿Qué futuro me espera ahí como mujer? Like, I'm gonna have to be the one who wears the pants in the relationship. You know, I'm gonna have to step up and be the guy. I'm gonna be the one who has to provide. You know, if the guy can't do that for his family or himself, like, ¿qué futuro te espera ahí? So, I feel like it is really important.
I want a girl who's like hungry and has that ambition to like, you know, seguir adelante with whatever it is that she wants to do, you know? As long as like there's a future there. I don't know why you're laughing. I'm being serious.
It's because you're like, she's hungry.
Well, see, like hungry for money, not hungry for food. Fuck.
I know.
Well, yeah, food is good too. You know, I want to go out.
No,
to,
I get what you mean.
Yeah, for someone who is busy with their life. So, do you think being busy makes someone more attractive or harder to date? Because I feel like I'm in that aspect right now.
Could you repeat that again?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Do you think being busy makes someone more attractive or harder to date? And I fall in this category. So
from my perspective, it makes someone harder to date because I go through, like, yo lo estoy viviendo en carne propia. So it's like some days I'm too stressed and I don't want to deal with like a person, you know? And so I feel like it's just harder to date because, you know, they have their priorities are somewhere else. I'm not saying you're not going to be one of their priorities, but, you know, like if they care about you enough and they love you and you guys already have that bond established and everything, like they're going to be all in for you. But sometimes, you know, we do go through like difficult moments in school and it's like the least of your worries is like that one person.
mhm.
That sounds bad to say.
Yes and no. I think as long as you can give them time, some sort of time, even though it's because también the person, como again, back to the whole like depends on your partner thing. They just have to understand, like if you're a busy person, they have to understand that, you know, they have to understand that you're not always going to be there for them. You're not always going to like have time for them. And it sucks because maybe that person does want all that time or that, you know, like attention and you just can't give it to them. If it's like that, ni te metas, honestly, you know, like if they're not going to understand or if they don't have like the same mindset as you towards like having a busy life, then it's better not to like get involved, you know? Look for someone
with the same mentality as you.
exactly
With the same goals and ambitions.
Maybe even if the goals are like different, but like yet still like whatever it is that they're trying to do is gonna make them successful, pues okay, you know, like it could work out, it could not, you never know until you try it. But if it's with someone that just like
cares about partying and doesn't really want to work on themselves or better themselves, then maybe that's not it. I mean, it can work out for some people, but it's not for everybody.
yeah, so definitely like, you know, be sure on who you're getting to know, who do you want to be with, like porque at the end of the day all that matters. And not only to you but to them and to like everyone who's around your circle and their circle. So definitely, even though like it shouldn't, right? It shouldn't, pero sometimes it is like that. So what advice, right? What advice would you give to people dating while building their future?
Well, since it's a tricky one because a lot of the times when people see that you're doing something better for yourself or you're trying to work on yourself, a veces nomás se te arriman por interés y por lo que les puedes ofrecer. So I feel like it's tricky to just weed out the good ones and the bad ones. But the advice I would give to somebody just trying to date while being in school and everything, honestly, just get to know the person. Just get to know the person, what they're on about, what kind of history do they have. Just genuinely get to know them, or at least try to establish a friendship before you start dating them. Because like you were mentioning, people are really like, you could be with somebody and you never really truly know who you're dating. And like people are really good at hiding stuff and they're selfish. That's really my only advice.
Okay, now here's like the money shot question. Do you think love shows up when you're looking for it or when you're focused on yourself?
Oh my gosh. This is something I've been dealing with. Porque a mí me ha tocado que, you know, obviously I've talked to guys in the past and that I've been interested in, and in the moment they weren't interested in me. I let things die off or whatever, start focusing on myself and they come back. You know, I've had two guys that like have done that and it's like, wow. Like as soon as you start focusing on yourself, es cuando empiezan a, you know, they start getting curious. What is she up to? What is she on about? You know, that kind of thing. So
I could say yes, porque being someone desperate,
it's like no encuentras nada. And then if you do, it's not even a good person.
yeah, y al final del día, you're gonna stay desperate. So that's what I tell everyone, whether they're a guy or a girl, don't matter who they are. Don't be desperate. Be patient. Sooner or later, you know, someone is gonna come into your life. But at the same time, también you gotta have your boundaries and, you know, obviously your standards, pero boundaries for sure, porque you don't want to let someone in your life just like that, porque como tú dices, physical attraction. Get to know them like con tiempo, you know, like don't
don't just jump into it and then get too serious pretty soon, and then you don't know them too well, and you know they do you dirty, and you're all heartbroken.
Mm-hmm. Because being heartbroken, like it sucks, dude. Like you like hasta ganas de like desvivirte tienes, you know?
No, literally. Literally.
Like we're laughing about it, but there's people out there that literally do that. And it's not worth it, you know, especially if it's because of another person, you know. And como te digo, this goes for guys and girls. Be smart, be hungry, not food wise, but money wise.
Mentality wise, just wanting to elevate yourself, wanting to better yourself.
Yes, for sure. Better yourself first. Get to a point where you think like, hey, you know what, I'm ready. Or like, instead of being like, oh, I need someone. And then once I get someone, that's when I'll, you know, like, nah, don't do that.
Yeah, have that self-respect, that self-love. Mm-hmm. Porque como dicen, si tú no te puedes amar ni querer a ti mismo, no exijas ni esperes que nadie más te quiera. Mm-hmm. So, like, the way you perceive yourself is the way people perceive you. So if you're like, you're not too confident in yourself, like insecure, like if you're really insecure and you're just like very like bien dudoso, people see that and they don't like that, and they're like, dang, she doesn't look that confident, or he doesn't look that confident. I'm not sure if I'm interested in like trying to get that.
So that's person. Something. So yes, that's something also very big in a person is confidence. You have to have that confidence in yourself, and no matter what situation you're gonna get yourself into, having confidence, especially like if you're in public. If you have confidence in public, people are gonna like. You're just gonna draw attention así de repente. It's not because you're asking for it. It's not because you're looking for it. It just fucking happens. But that's because you're doing something right. Because you have that confidence in you, and it don't matter like. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of does have to do with like the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you present yourself, whatever. But as long as the confidence is there,
it takes you places,
and you get conversations started.
Yeah, no, literally. I mean, it seems and sounds like something so small, but in reality, it plays a huge factor in like a lot of things. You know, like if you go to a job interview and you're just like very like, you don't look confident and you're like very insecure.
Don't be nervous. Yeah.
Te hacen preguntas. You're like, I don't know, like I don't know how to feel about this, or I don't know. Like, you know, obviously they're not going to want to hire you. They want somebody who's confident, knows what they're doing, and if they don't know what they're doing, like they're going to be confident enough to figure out a way to work around it, you know? Mm-hmm. Or like same with relationships, like just have that confidence in yourself.
You know what's funny?
What?
Back in like middle school or high school, mm-hmm. or like even after high school, just like in that little like time period before like we reach like our adulthood.
Oh yeah.
Ya ves que like in social media, like obviously social media has been around for like a long time, and you know, like as the years go by, it's just gonna get more advanced with, you know, technology and AI. But before all that, dude, like people would post about like their shit, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was I wouldn't say I was one of those people. I was maybe for like a time, but then I was just like more like ¿cómo se dice? Like self-kept to, ¿cómo se dice?
I think you're more private.
Yeah, like more private, pero I would still like in a post, like I would post like certain...
Enough to keep people like curious, but not enough to like have them know exactly what you're doing.
It's because the reason I bring this up is because it's funny, because like the other day, I don't know, like if you have archive posts on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you guys don't know what that means, archive on your Instagram is basically posts that you've had like in the past, but only you can see them. Like they're still there, but only you decide to make them public or private. And it's funny because I was going through those the other day, and I saw a picture of me, right? It's just like a mere selfie. And I think this was like around 2019. And I was in a relationship at that time. And it's funny because like back then when I would be in relationships, or not even like relationships, just like back then, like as a, like just me, you know, like I would post just dumbass quotes. When I saw like that picture of me, I saw the quote, and I thought it was pretty funny, right? Because, como te digo, I was in a relationship at that time.
I feel like you say a lot without saying too much.
And see, that's...
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just get to a point. So I saw the post, and in the caption it said, she was all like, "Oh, you're perfect," and then I was like, "Nah, I'm just different."
What the
And it's a
heck?
picture of me just like a mirror selfie.
Yeah, Dang.
That's cringe.
Kind of. Kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm sure we all have those cringe moments. I mean, you gotta live through it. No one's perfect.
You know, no one's perfect in reality. Everyone's gonna have su lado where they're not perfect. And I say this for like everyone, you know, like everyone has some sort of immaturity still in them, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing, you know. Cada quien va a tener su parte de inmadurez, pero you're not like childish, I guess. You should be good, you know. It's always good to have like at least a little bit of immaturity in you. That's basically defines who you are.
I feel like that's what life is about. You know, like you're just always constantly learning, constantly evolving.
For example, in this podcast, we were laughing about things that we shouldn't be laughing about, but that's because that's just us, you know, like that's just like our mindset, you know, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the way people see it. Like, oh, ese güey se está riendo de ese, and that's not even funny. But that's because you don't have the same immature or mature level as I do. Everyone's different, and we just got to respect that. Anyways, we're basically, you know, done with this whole podcast. We did talk about a lot of things. I feel like we talked about a good amount of things, you know? So I
Yeah.
see like the people that are watching this video are getting to know who you are, you know, getting to know what you do y todo eso. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know, again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to like come here and be on the pod and just, you know, cotorreando, having
for
some
sure.
shots of tequila, which, you know, I'm done. We basically, well, almost half of the bottle. Yeah, I'll save this for another special occasion.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. You know, I really had a fun time, you know, just sitting down here and talking to you about like different topics. I really enjoyed it. And, you know,
Yeah,
I know you're busy yourself. So thank you for just opening up the time to like make this work and just trying to work around my schedule.
no, yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you know this, but you're actually like the second girl to be on my
Oh,
podcast.
really?
Yeah.
Dang, I feel honored.
For sure, just keep in mind that there's going to be more, obviously, newer guests también to have here and get to know them and know what they do y todo eso.
So like next time you have voz de mando.
Yeah, right. No, they'll probably never be on here.
It's gonna be at a new restaurant. I think Las Islas en Ponchos or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, estilo Nayarit. Gotta represent the homestay or hometown, whatever.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I still need to go to that restaurant. I was planning on going to that restaurant a week ago, but I ended up going to Dave's Hot Chicken. If you guys haven't seen that video, please go check it out. It's a pretty funny video, and it's an experience on like the new local, it's the restaurant here in the Valley of Medford, Oregon. But yes, I still need to go try, you know, Las Islas because estilo Nayarit mariscos, pues you can't go wrong with that. We already tried El Compa People's, and his shit is like bomb. Have you tried People's?
No, I've heard a lot about it, but
You need to go, bro.
I know.
You need to
I
go.
know.
It's definitely pretty good. Like you'll get that Nayarit taste.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, rest of your night, whatever time you're watching this. Gladys here. Say goodbye to the audience.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me, Fernie, and thank you all for just sticking around and, you know, getting to know more about me. I appreciate you all y pues que Dios los bendiga a cada uno de ustedes, que les vaya bien y pues, you know, depending on what time of day or night you're watching this, you know, I hope you enjoy the rest of your night, evening.
And Gladys and Fernie out.